And welcome back to the show. We are still with this beautiful, gorgeous bird. Earlier we spoke to a fighter pilot, not a fighter pilot, but a test pilot, who actually flies this particular number, this particular machine. But now people are behind this machine and who are responsible for the maintenance, who are responsible for the care of the engine and the aerodynamics. And just like a car, the way you maintain it, obviously flying you don't have an option to stop the car. Obviously, it has to be 101% perfect and at the optimum level. Now, looking at this machine, obviously, it is very important that we should talk to the person who is responsible for the maintenance and for the technical side of this bird. So, we have with us Squadron Leader Usman Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum, Usman.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
What a pleasure having you.
Thank you very much.
So, you're the person in charge as far as the maintenance of this gorgeous bird is concerned?
Yes, sir.
So, Musa, let's start off from the cockpit part.
Yeah.
Earlier, we used to think that this cockpit is pretty small and the pilot sitting inside is not much comfortable. But this is huge and this is beautiful.
Yeah, it's provide ease for the pilot to sit and a beautiful cockpit. All MFDs and glass cockpit.
And when you say MFDs, what is that supposed to
MFD is multifunctional display. You can actually utilize it just like a computer tab and move from one page to another and every data which a pilot requires.
So you have an iPad right in front of you.
Yeah.
Okay. And when I was reading about this this bird, and I was told that it goes up to almost 55,000.
Yeah.
The height.
Yeah, that's
So
maximum ceiling.
so the maximum ceiling. So what is that supposed to mean? I mean, if you exceed that limit, what happens then?
Actually, the maximum ceiling defines the performance of engine. It's
Okay, it's about the engine.
Yeah, the engine actually works on fuel and air. The fuel and air optimum mixtures keeps it burning. So the maximum ceiling is where the engine of the aircraft perform optimally. Above that, the fuel and air mixture actually gets disturbed. That's why you put a limit at maximum ceiling.
When you talk about the thrust to body ratio, what is that supposed to mean? But, I mean, in a layman language, when you say, okay, now this car is under par and that car is a little overpowered. So is this plane perfectly balanced? Because somebody said this is 0.95. What is that supposed to mean?
Yeah, that is pure technical terms. It is called thrust to weight ratio,
Okay.
which defines actually the load carrying capability of the aircraft.
Okay.
So the thrust to weight ratio actually defines how an aircraft can perform with respect to the load that is carrying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah, it's very simple. The lighter the aircraft is, the more controllable it is.
Earlier, Wing Commander Ronald was telling me that it has almost 7 hard points where you can actually deploy the bombs and the missiles and everything. So, for example, it is fully loaded and then a certain amount of fuel is also for a certain mission. So that means that the thrust to body ratio decreases.
Yeah, the more you install the weights, the heavier the aircraft gets. So it's thrust to weight ratio actually varies. Then the maneuverability gets affected
As well.
Yeah.
There is no vector on this plane. Where are the vectors?
The vectors actually are the sensors which get the information of air data. It has 3 transducers. This
Okay.
is left pressure transducers,
Okay.
then a main pressure transducer,
Okay.
and towards the right side it has right pressure transducer.
And what is the function of this?
These transducers actually get the input from air,
Okay.
and then they transform it into the sensors, which is the flight control computers.
Okay.
And
And
then
they actually tell the speed.
yeah, they actually sense the air pressure. and then
So that means the
transform
height
it-
also?
Yeah, the height also.
Okay.
There are AOAs, the total temperature sensors,
Okay.
the left AOA, right AOA.
Okay.
These actually 7, 8 sensors combine
Okay.
each other, and then they send the air data inputs to flight control computers.
Okay.
And from there, the flight control actually controls the aircraft itself. The moment
So it's fully automated.
it's a complete automatic plane, and all the data actually gives us the ease of maintenance through which we evaluate the data and then get the fault out of it. The computers actually perform all the monitoring of the system,
Okay.
and then from there, if any fault is reported, we just download the data,
Okay.
and through that we reach the exact point that where the fault lies. And from there, you can easily perform accurate and assured.
And obviously, you must be getting a lot of feedback from the pilots also once they come back and they tell you, well, I expected it to maneuver in a certain way, but this particular machine or this number XYZ plane or this particular bird, let's call it this.
Through which we come to know that this particular fault has occurred. And then based on that input from pilot, which we call debrief, from there we go on to the respective system and download its data.
Okay.
From that data, we exactly come to know that.
So it's not like that you're like a mechanic, you're opening the engine and
not
you're
at
just
all,
fixing
not at
something up. So it's the data which you,
particular
and
fault
then you
has
fix
occurred.
it
And
in
then,
the computer. So
based
it's
on
more
that
like,
input from
you know, that
pilot,
today's
which we call debrief, from there we go on to the respective system and download its data. From that data, we exactly come to know that.
So it's not like that you're like a mechanic, you're opening the engine and
not
you're
at
just
all,
fixing
not at
something up. So it's the data which you, and then you fix it in the computer.
Yeah.
So it's more like you know, that today's modern software designing or something of that sort.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, this beautiful plane gives us a huge technological jump from old version aircraft like Mirages or F7s or F5s, because over there the maintenance gets into the problem when a pilot comes and tells us that, okay, I have this problem in air. But when you hook up the test equipment and you don't find the problem. So you have to actually then go into a iterative
Minute details also.
but for this beautiful platform, which is highly maintainable and reliable, you actually have to hook up just a test equipment and you will
Gets all
download
the data.
exactly information, which actually gives us assured and accurate maintenance.
Of that particular sortie, and then you can fix it. Okay, now let's move on. I mean, look. By the way, do you have air in these tires, or are they rubber tires? What are they?
These are the rubber tires, but these are equipped with they are filled with nitrogen.
Why nitrogen? Nitrogen is too cold, isn't it?
Yeah, actually the concept of putting in nitrogen is that it actually doesn't
Expand.
expand.
Okay, now these are the hydraulics, right?
Yeah, these are
So when the plane takes off, I mean, do you do it yourself, or automatically it goes inside? I mean, or is it some?
No, there's a
lever?
selection for the pilot who puts it up,
Okay.
and the landing gears along with the door.
Because the plane normally lands on those two wheels, right? And then the nose it is down, right? All right. Okay, tell us about the wingspans.
Yeah, it's as you know, it's a smaller plane.
Okay.
So the wingspan is
But length is almost the same.
length is almost the same.
And it's a single engine.
Yeah, it's a single engine bird.
All right. So, because you know, again, talking about the engine is RD33,
Yeah, RD93.
RD93. So RD93 is a modern version of
Modern
RD33.
version.
Looking at F104 star meter, which could go up to 2.2 max, right? But this could go up to 1.8, I guess.
Yes.
But the wingspan, being smaller wingspan, why is it slow? Is it because of the engine power?
No, it is basically, if you compare it with 104 jet, it has a single. It was not double delta wing.
Okay.
It's a single. If
this
you
is the
spare,
double delta.
yeah, this is a double delta. For 104, the fuselage was very lengthy,
Okay.
and the wingspan was very less.
Oh.
So that actually aerodynamic design made 104 high-speed aircraft. This jet is with double delta wing, which provides our air crew the lethality and the controllability in terms of air superiority for air-to-air missions.
There's this Urdu poetry, Urdu में एक शेर है, पलटकर झपटना झपटकर पलटना लहू गर्म रखने का है एक बहाना, पहला में इकबाल. So when you talk about पलट के झपटना, that means you're going like this and you're turning and you're coming back. So you're making a circle which is like, let's say 360 degrees. So how do you compare those two?
The edge which we get on this plane is that it is being made, it's being developed, and it's being matured within Pakistan. So there is, in terms of technology, we are not dependent on any other nation. So we can mature it, we can develop it, we can modify it, and we can utilize it to the best of our requirements. This part actually is the rear fuselage.
Okay.
The design of JF-17 Thunder is based on modular design. The front fuselage, center fuselage, and rear fuselage. The rear fuselage contains.
And this is where the engine is, right?
Yeah, this is where the
And
engine.
how long
is.
does it go, by the way?
It
Almost
goes.
close to the wing?
It goes almost start of the wing.
So almost 10-meter long engine.
Yeah, almost 10-meter long engine.
Okay.
And this part contains speed brakes, which provides the pilot, which gives the pilot to reduce the speed of the aircraft.
Okay.
Then is the vertical tail. Then this part is ventral
And that's the
fins.
rudder at the back,
Yeah,
right?
that's the rudder. This is the horizontal stabilizers.
Okay. And what is the function of this particular portion?
Horizontal stabilizer provides the pitch direct to lift the aircraft and to bring it down, which we call in technical terms, we call it pitch control.
So this portion is like untouched, like very hot.
No, the beauty of this plane is that if we compare it with the legacy fighters like Mirages or F7s, when an aircraft switches off after the mission, you can't put your hand into the.
It is so hot.
It is so hot.
Okay.
But the design of this engine is that it when it starts, the air comes and it does not allow the flame of the engine to touch with the structure. So whenever the aircraft is switched off, you can put your hand in it. Why the requirement is there to see, actually when the aircraft is hot and you want to send it again into the air, you have to actually inspect certain parameters, which is we call quick turnaround inspection. So if the engine is cooled, you can actually go inside and see all the parameters, either it is structurally intact, there is no leakage.
What is the difference between the fourth generation and the new generation, or let me put it this way, the third generation and the fourth generation? How do you define fourth generation?
It is actually the standoff weapons, the lethality, the endurance. These all are the parameters which makes an aircraft fourth generation.
Anyway, Squadron Leader Usman, it was a
Thank you.
pleasure having you.
Thank you.